Hey, welcome to a new series I'm starting. I don't know how long this series will last, but it's called the A to Z of multi-million dollar investing. And the goal is just to share here in my Houston home and share a few ideas. I've built a culture over the years to teach what I'm doing, to share what works for me, and hopefully I inspire a few people to do the same. And so this series is just to chronicle my journey. Today I do multi-million dollar investments across the world, and the goal is just to share how does it work, where do you start from. And there are two categories of people who always join me every time I'm doing the show. There will be those who are already at the level of starting from multi-million dollars, right? In other words, you're buying a property worth over $1 million from day one. And there will be people who are not yet there. You cannot yet do a multi-million dollar deal, but you want to get there. And I want to talk to both of you because I think that you have to have the whole idea of where you're going. You see, where you're going is way more important than where you are. This is the reason why when you're in a car, if you notice, what do you call it now? Is it the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror, right? In other words, where you're going is more important than where you're coming from. So even if you are not yet ready to do multi-million dollars deals, you need to begin to listen to conversation of how multi-million dollar deals are done, because that's ultimately where you want to go. True of us. And many of you agree with me. If you agree, just type I agree. So tell me your name, the city you're joining me from. Tell me, share this video as well. Invite a few of your friends, let them join us. Let's have this conversation. At some point, I will take you through my property, 3.3 acre here in Houston, Texas, right? Here in Texas, and I hope, again, the goal is not to brag; it's just to inspire you into where you need to be. So, are you guys ready? If you're ready, type I'm ready. A to Z of multi-million dollar investing. Rio from Abuja. I have a lot of people from Nigeria, incidentally. I mean, I thought a lot of you would be sleeping by now. Okay, UK is here as well. Welcome everyone. Please share this video. Get more people from across the globe to join us. We're going to be having a fantastic conversation. Probably it's 30-40 minutes, but I promise you, you'll learn a lot from this conversation. And those of you who are really serious about investing in real estate, please send me a DM. Okay, reach out to me. We can start with you somewhere, some Arkansas. I can see someone from Arkansas. I've never been there before. New Jersey is here. Never been to New Jersey. But all of you are welcome. So are you ready? If you're ready, type I'm ready. Number one, $1 million investing. Number one. Start with what you have. However, always have deep down your multi-million dollar dream. When I started real estate, I didn't have multi-million dollars. Let me be honest with you. But did I know I will be a multi-million dollar investor? Nope. Guess what? I knew I would be a multi-billion dollar investor from day one, right? And I'm talking about when all I had to invest was $10,000, when all I could invest was $5,000, when all I have to invest was, less than $50,000. I already knew this was a $1 billion business. And I'm building a not just one, multi-billion dollar business. In America, I've announced it to those who care. 5 to 10 years, I'm going to be controlling multi-billion-dollar asset here in America alone, right? So, in other words, I don't yet control multi-billion-dollar property in America yet, but I've announced it ahead of time. I've planned it ahead of time. So the same you need to do. I don't care, oh, Dr. Steven, you won't believe it. All I have to invest now is $10,000. Yeah, that's okay. Start there. But you will tell me, but there's no $10,000 property deal. Oh, but there are some people doing multi-million-dollar deal. And guess what? They can allow you invest with them with 10,000. Are we learning here? Does it not make sense to be able to point and say, well, this project, my own $10,000 is there. Does it not make sense? Come and talk to me. Right? Here is a multi-million-dollar project done by this particular company. But I invest, and guess what? By studying the companies you are investing in, is a matter of time you replicate the same. And this is one of the reasons why it's scriptural. The Bible talks about, it says, if you are not faithful in that which is another man, who will give you your own? One of the secrets of my life, and people don't get it, when I want something, I look for who is there, and I'm ready to serve that person. Oh, let me say it again. When I want something, and I honestly cannot afford it, I'm not at that level, I look for who is at that level, and I serve them. And in the process of serving them, I'm learning. Because you see, sometimes we think being a multi-million-dollar person, being a multi-billion-dollar person is about having the money. No! Do you have the contacts? Come on, talk to me. Do you have the contacts? Do you have the connection? Do you know the people? Come on, are we learning here? Because that is really how wealth is built. It's not about just getting money. When they say you are at a level, it's not that you got them. Okay, I'll give you an example. How many people were called millionaires just because millions passed through their account? Let's even say millions in naira. For those of you who are from where I come from, Nigeria. Okay? How many people were called? Most of you looking at me cannot boast to say, I'm a multi-millionaire. But guess what? Millions have passed through your account. True of us. So you are only comfortable to say, I'm a multi-millionaire when it's recurrent, isn't it? It's consistent, right? But guess what makes it consistent? The system. So I know that by the virtue of robbing minds, right? Partnering with people who are at that level, I am becoming. You see, you need to become before you have. Am I making sense at all? You need to become before you have. You need to become. There's a mental becoming. Come on, are we learning here? There is a becoming. Trust me, I became a multi-millionaire before I touched my millions. I became a multi-billionaire before I touched billions. It's the becoming. And until you become, you will not touch, you will not have. You have to become. Right? So it's very, very critical. And the beginning of that is to say, you know what? I may not be there, but I'm going to start hanging around people who are there. I may not be there, but I'm going to serve those who are there. I'm going to make sure those who are there retain where they are. Am I making sense at all? But guess what start happening? Guess what start happening? I will soon start meeting their colleagues. You see what start happening? I will soon start thinking like them. I'll start hearing gist they discuss. All right? They will tell me when they close some deals. The day I eventually get face to face with my biggest life-changing deal, I will not be a novice. In fact, I will not get into that deal acting like I've never done it. Who gets what I'm talking about? Because I've moved around that circle. I've played in that game, in that mix. I've talked to people like that. I've behaved. Let me give you an example. This is a bonus. Hear this, and you write it down. when I'm amongst people that are very, very rich, guess what happened? I become more humble intentionally. You know why? It irritates them. But when I'm around poor people and I'm playing humility, guess what happened? They doubt whether I'm rich or not. Oh, you don't get it. So I give you an example. If I'm going to the house of a multi-billionaire and I have between driving a Tesla or a Rolls Royce, I probably will go with a Tesla because they probably have a Rolls Royce, or they have a Maybach, which is like the Mercedes version of. Do you get the point? So it doesn't even feel it. Maybe they don't even have a Tesla because they may be old money, right? I will learn it here. But guess what? When I'm going to the house of somebody who's not that wealthy, and then I come with a Tesla, he's even the one complaining that, okay, I thought you would come with Rolls Royce, so that my neighbor would know that I know a rich man. So are you seeing the difference now? The game is totally different. But guess what? If you have never dealt with rich people, you will think they're arrogant. You will think they want you to puff up. You will think that when you are with them, what they are looking for is somebody who is showing up. Hey, me too, I have this. Because it's really not even exciting for someone. Some of them want to even hear your story, how you started. Some of them want to, they are more impressed. Young man, Utishebai, we studied you, we're impressed. A lot of, particularly those of you who are younger, well, listen to me. Many of us put undue pressure on yourself. I've met people who are trying to impress me. And I'm like, I get it. When I was 25, I was still hawking, still selling popcorn. So I understand if you are not there yet. Don't come and brag. Are we learning here? But again, if you have not been in that environment, you think you need to show off. You think you need to impress. You think there's something to do. Are we learning here? So again, back to where we are before. Step 1, start from where you are. Right? Start the investment from, because that's even what will make your story interesting. Oh, how did you start your real estate investment? Oh, I met a mentor online, Dr. Steven. Oh, they were doing some project in US. I just was able to gather my first $10,000. I just invested. Right? Few years later, I, of course, started doing more. Do you see how exciting that story gets? But guess what? I now get more curious with what Dr. Steven is doing with that money. Because where your money is, where your heart will be. I am more detailed. I'm saying, okay, so he bought this, he did this, he got this. Okay, and when I finally get to that point, I'll be able to do that. And guess what? Another beautiful thing. The day I tell Dr. Steven, I need your help in my own journey, guess what Dr. Steven will do? Because I was part of the investment he's been doing, he will give me an access. Are we learning here? I'll give you an example. I've met several billionaires in my life, whether in dollars or in naira. But hear this. The ones who really took me seriously, whether the ones I did business with them, or the ones that I approached them in a very humble manner that I wanted to learn, okay, and getting an opportunity, right, to be mentored by them. But guess what I'm saying? I brought something to the table. I've had mentors that I had to patronize, not because I needed their product, but I wanted them to know I'm serious about my relationship with them. I don't want to be parasitic, right? And once I know I've done enough business with them, it makes it easy for me to be able to access them better. Are we learning, guys? If you're learning, type I'm learning. So start from where you are. If you're going to do multi-million-dollar, real estate investing, start with your 10,000. Start with 20,000, your 50,000, your 100,000. Go look for somebody who's already doing it and invest with them. And at least it's in the books. You have started your real estate investing. Number 2, which is very, very critical, and don't ever forget it. Okay? Be a beast when it comes to knowledge. I always say this, always get the knowledge about investment before the investment itself. So the period you are saying you don't have enough money, why not just go on just consuming as many information about $1 million investing? Go study podcast on $1 million investing. Buy books on $1 million investing, right? Check out the multi-billionaires and the investment they are doing, and just read the numbers, right? And just ask questions, and just study and consume and consume. Remember what we said earlier, you needed to become first before you can have. You need to become before you can have. In other words, there is a becoming. It's mental. Trust me, it's mental. I'll give you an example. I used to, and this is very real, and this is why becoming is very important. I've had years where I had good money in my account and I was scared to invest the money. How many of you have had that? Right? Like, you already had enough money to do certain investment, but you're practically scared to do the investment. And you know why you are scared? You've not become. Am I making sense at all? You've not become mentally. Because once you become mentally, what's the worst that can happen? I'll lose this money. I'll learn from it. Right? I'll figure out a way to make the money back. And I'll grow. Right? Because you have become mentally. But when you haven't become mentally, guess what's coming to your mind? What if I lose this money? My life is over. Your life isn't a function of money. You are too important for money to be your definition. You are. I was sharing with somebody recently. I said, look, one of the powerful things that delivered me as a person is when I became me. I got to a point where I understood who I was. And that me isn't just money. Right? I am good. Things work in my hand. Whatever I touch turns to gold. My brain, I have the mind of angels. Oh, is it making sense? Come on, talk to me. Are you feeling this? And because I understand who I am, money or no money, when I show up, Stephen Akintayo carries his own aura into the room. Does that make sense at all? And that aura has nothing to do with whether there's money or there's no money. And I tell you, what helps you to become is knowledge. Because you just know. Right? And that's why somebody said, knowledge is arrogant. Knowledge oozes out. You can't be knowledgeable. Even your silence is saying something. Who gets what I'm talking about? Even your silence is saying something when you are a very knowledgeable person. So number two, in the journey, so you've started from where you are, but you still want to go bigger and better. Good. What you then need to do is start consuming information. Start getting more trainings. Just load yourself while you are raising, and here is number three, and this is very important. After the real knowledge has dawned on you, here is the breaking point. You realize that your own personal money will never, ever make you $1 million investor. You have to leverage on OPM and OPT, other people's money and other people's time. And when that knowledge dawns on you, you realize that what we really, really use to build great empire has nothing to really do with the money you have. It has everything to do with the knowledge you have and the relationship you've built. And guess what? Even great relationships are attracted to sound mind. Does that make sense at all? I'll say it again. Great relationships are attracted to sound mind. nobody wants to be friends with a rich fool. True of us. I'll say that again. Nobody wants to be friends with a rich fool. So ultimately, what gets you to that quality relationship is just the soundness of your mind. When rich people also sit with you and they can learn in the process, and they can evolve in the process, and they can pick a thing or two in the process, and being around you feels like they are a child and they are learning new things, and they are being exposed to new opportunities. It's like a new world. I remember somebody kept telling me in the last 2 weeks now, so Dr. Stephen, I'm just scared. We're just getting to know each other, and it's as if and then you're just this open. You're just doing so much, and we're like, I said, look, I've had to learn to just trust the process of meeting new people and opening my life up, right? In the course of doing a lot of things internationally, because I can't just keep my world and just be my world alone and not open up and not be vulnerable to the fact that I need to meet new people. I need to meet new relationships, and we all, bounce off each other and learn from each other. Come on, I will learn in here. Come on, if you're learning type, I'm learning. So when the depth of knowledge comes, which you need to prioritize as number 2, right? It will open you up to the OPM side of things, where you need to know OPM and OPT, other people's money, other people's time. Now we can unpack OPM, OPT for another 1 week, right? That is a whole different journey. But at least you now know that, look, no matter how rich I am, even if I am Bill Gates' daughter, the money Bill Gates gives me as an inheritance will never be enough to ultimately build my real estate empire. Even if I am Donald Trump's son, the money Donald Trump left for me will never be enough to build a real estate empire. It's the same thing. Donald Trump got $1 million from his dad, who was a very successful real estate person. But how did you think he built his Trump Tower across America and the rest of the world? He had to get partners. He had to get institutional investors. He had to get banks. He had to get private individuals. He had to get a lot of other wealthy people to put in money with him, including Robert Kiyosaki, that they've done a lot of deals together. And that's what really happens. As you start moving, oh guy, check these numbers. I have this deal. This deal will cost $10 million. I need to raise the initial $3 million. Can you come in with me? He said, okay, you know what? I'll give you 500K. What will you give me? I'll give you this. Boom. He sent his 500K. Before you know, this other person sent 500K. This other person sent $500K. And then maybe you also had $1 million to add. Boom, you've raised your own $3 million, and you can get institutional investors to give you the remaining $7 million. But guess what? Even to have the right, lender to deal with, all that still involves OPT. You see where other people's time comes in. You now need good people that can be your partners in all these real estate deals. Come on, guys. Does this make sense? Come on, does it make sense? Talk to me. We're about going now. Right? Does it make sense, guys? If it makes sense, just type it makes sense, it makes sense, it makes sense. So, for you to do $1 million investing, for you to do $1 million deals, you have to invest, number 1, start where you are. So, all these, Dr. Stephen, somebody said, what if I have 100,000 Nigerian naira? 100,000 Nigerian naira is less than $100. Well, if I were you, I would go and say, what book has Dr. Stephen authored on real estate? Can I buy it? Do you see where I'm going to start if I'm you? What book has Robert Kiyosaki authored on real estate? What book has Grant Cardone authored on real estate? I will buy it, because your $100 obviously is not going to be enough to invest in physical real estate asset, but it's enough to invest in your mind. And I promise you, ultimately, like I told you, what will bring the money for your big time breakthrough is a function of your sound mind. And your sound mind will bring quality partners, quality relationship. And your quality relationship will give you two things: OPM and OPT. Right? So if you don't start from being deep, being knowledgeable. Now, people invest millions of dollars with me, right? Why do you think they do so? Can somebody type here? Why do you think people trust Dr. Stephen Akintayo to invest millions of dollars with him? In fact, I was checking recently, we've paid investors over $1 million in returns on investment, right? In the course of just 3 years alone. And this is just those who gave us their cash and we gave them returns. This is different from those who bought house from us or bought land from us or other deals that we do. And the question is, why are they doing that? Can somebody tell me, why do you think these people are doing that? Ola, great man, say credibility. Yeah, credibility, but that's not the first. Credibility is the second. The first is that they know Dr. Stephen understands the real estate game. True or false? That's the first. They are convinced that Dr. Stephen understands how real estate works. They are convinced that Dr. Stephen knows the game. They are convinced that Dr. Stephen can use the money, can grow the money, can multiply the money. That's the first thing. It is after they know he can do that, the next thing will now be Dr. Stephen's credibility. I will learn in here. The first thing will be, no, integrity. This is where you guys miss it. I will not invest with an entrepreneur that will lose my money. How many of you have met honest, sincere people, but they lost your money? Come on, talk to me now. Did it change the pain that they lost the money? Come on, talk to me. Did it change the pain that they lost your money? How many of you have dealt with people who lost your money honestly? They lost it in a honest way. They lost it, they didn't steal, but they lost the money. Right? They didn't play games, but they lost your money. Did it change whether they had integrity or not? What was more important was the fact that your money is missing. So the first thing people look out for, thank you, Olushola, is capacity. That's the first thing. Do you even have the capacity? It's after we are confirmed that you have the capacity, the next thing will now be, do you have integrity? In other words, if you now have used my money and we made a profit, will you be credible? Do you have enough integrity to pay me my share? But the first thing I want to confirm, is, because I want to go around, I need you to help me hold the stuff, right? The first thing they want to confirm is, do you have the capacity? Do you understand how real estate works? Right? If I give you my $1 million today, do you know what to do with the $1 million and help to generate enough income, okay, that will help me make good money? So I'll give you an example of my house. I'm going to be selling this house very soon. I will tell you, just to give you an idea of what we talk about, understanding how real estate works, right? In the kitchen. So this is an unusual or an house. So I'm not emotional about real estate, right? I'm not emotional, like, at all. So I can buy a house today and flip it if I think it makes sense. So this is a 3.3 acre. You can see how beautiful it is. Like in your whole world. There's no animal I've not seen in this part of the world, right? It's massive, beautiful, but where is it? So it's a whole new model I want to master. But again, that's what we're talking about, knowledge. I want to practice it on me. Okay, so what's the concept? Buy a multi-million-dollar property, then add value to it. So what I want to do here, because it's 3.3 acre, I want to put a golf range, I want to put a tennis court. It already has a swimming pool, it has a pond, it has all of that. Okay, so that's not what I'm looking for at this point. But I want to add more value. So I could put in another $200,000 to put in a golf range where we can, a mini golf range, right? So we can shoot the ball from that side it has, the way I call it valley, but it's a word the Americans call it here, right? So go deep down there, and then there's a river at the back. So the goal is we can shoot our ball from that fence there, and then we shoot, at least we'll get 200 yards before we start getting into the valley side. Then also put a tennis court. Then let me show you the river side. I'm looking for how to create a beautiful garden, by the way, in the valley side, a beautiful garden. I'm talking about adding value, right, to the property. Now, I am too sure by the time I'm done creating some beautiful experience, and even beside the river, because the river water goes up really, really high. So I'm thinking also, because the water can rise up, depends on the season, what can I also do here? Right, I'm getting a team to work with me on that. Create an easy steps down so that you can get to the water part, depending on which level the water is, and that is really lasting, right? And also something that, if possible, maybe smaller boats, particularly when the water is, the only problem is that sometimes there's a lot of log on the river, so you need to figure out how to navigate and all that. But when the water is really rising, maybe you want to take a boat and still see what you can do around the place, but create a beautiful environment. Now, by putting an extra $200,000 on this property, the value will double in the next 3 years, and I'm going to flip it, right? So, and guess what happened here in Texas? You find easily properties that are 5 acres, 20 acres, 60 acres, but you don't find enough outdoor experience to it, right? Enough outdoor experience to it, enough stuff that you can do outdoor with the house. And so I want to create that. But back to my conversation. By the way, what do you guys think about the house? So look, show them around. What do you think? 3.3 acre, beautiful. It's like I'm in my own republic. What do you think of the house? I want you to comment. What do you think about the house? Right? Facing a river. Again, maybe if you're an outdoor person like me, you will like it. But some of you are not outdoor. But I love when my house is like I'm in a world of my own. But again, back to my talk. Capacity is the first thing. Integrity is the second thing. Right? So people want to be sure you have the capacity, you have the knowledge, you have the training. Then the second is they want to be sure that if you do deals and money comes out, you will pay them. You are not going to change. You're not going to run away and then start telling stories. Oh, I'm so, And that's one of the reasons why people have trusted us and our company over the years and invested and keep investing. So when you understand, and there's so many other things, but when you get to know these guys, you now realize that it's not the cash that you have that will help you scale your business. It's who you have become, right? You have to become something. So guys, to wrap up this part one of, $1 million investing, okay, is, I think the word to caption it is that you have to become a $1 million investor first, mentally. You have to internalize the mindset, the personality type, right? The thinking set, the feeling set, the behavioral set, right? The courage set, right? Sometimes some people want to do things, but they don't even have the courage that gives the confidence of those things they want to do. So you have to work on being those things before we even now get to that point where, okay, we're now looking at having the funds, having the resources, and all of that. Let me say this, and this is very important. God does not want to give you the type of money that will hurt you. A lot of us are praying to God for certain things, but we have not become people who have the capacity to handle those things, right? I used to joke with, when I do seminars sometimes, I say, sometimes I believe God wants to give women more money, and this is a joke. I said because when women have more money, they're thinking about their family, right? But when men have money, they're thinking of second or third wives, right? So it's important that you become a person who likely, can deal with things like this, right? And handle investment. So, guys, that is my training for today. I think we'll probably do part 2, maybe tomorrow. But did you get value? Did you learn? Don't forget the Global Wealth Festival is taking place, this September. And if you register now, you have 50% discount to be part of the Global Wealth Festival. So you can join physically here in Houston, or you can join virtually online. The online ticket is so cheap, but go get your ticket now. www.stephenakintayo.com/GWFUSA Global Wealth Festival, or you can just send me a DM on Instagram. Again, DM on Instagram, because my team may later stream this video to other platforms, but you need to send me a DM on Instagram if you are not able to get the link. So the link again is www.stephenakintayo.com/GWFUSA www.stephenakintayo.com/GWFUSA. Go register. I'm bringing amazing speakers, right, who are going to teach you how to build real wealth when it comes to globally, right? Generally, these are multi-millionaires, and some are even multi-billionaires, or some sit on multi-billion-dollar corporations, and they are going to be sharing with you. You already know one of the speakers. Some other speakers, I'm keeping them private, right? One of the speakers is Dr. Cosmos Maduka, right? Confirm. It's going to blow your mind away. Multi-billionaire, no school degree, and he's built some big. In fact, I'll allow him tell you some international stuff he's been doing. Most people do not even have an idea. When you hear Dr. Cosmos, you think of Koschari's Nigeria. The man is doing bigger stuff in Japan, in the US, crazy stuff, right? So you're going to learn a lot about, growing wealth at a global level. And more importantly also is, if you're interested in investing in some of the deals I'm doing right now, multi-million-dollar deals, you want to invest so you can get returns on investment, please feel free to send me a DM, and my team will talk to you, and we'll see how they can work with you on building wealth. And you can start that journey right now. Like I said, start from where you are with what you have. Some of you are starting with the knowledge, buy the books, buy the seminar, go for the courses. Some of you even have a little on the side, a $10,000, a $20,000, a $50,000, where you can buy the books and still at least invest a little, right? And some of you already have millions of dollars already. So come on, talk to me, and let's see what we can do together. Whether I'm mentoring you or teach you how to go about it, or you want to invest with me and you get returns on investment, I'm here for you. I love you, and God bless you. Bye-bye.